Welcome to another 50. Today, we're diving into some pennies and putting them to the test with a Ryedale sorting machine.
I've had one or two.
We'll separate them by metal, copper, zinc, and steel, and see what we find.
Coins go in the top.
Let's fire up the machine and get started.
Go past this control penny sitting right in here. We can select a penny which we know the composition. For example, 1980 USA penny is going to be 95% copper. So as the pennies slide past here, it's going to accept the coin or it's going to reject the coin. It's not saying it's copper, it's saying it's the same as what's in the control. So they're going to just divide the copper pennies from the zinc and steel pennies because they're different composition.
Now, would a Canadian penny, if it was a Canadian penny, it would know, are they 95% copper as well, or?
It's similar enough. Like there's some tolerances with the penny because every penny is a little bit different. So as a Canadian copper penny slides past here, it's 98% copper. The USA penny is 95%. The coin or the machine thinks it's close enough. It's not completely different. So it's the same-ish or it's completely different. Because the zinc penny, the composition is completely different.
Right.
So you can even see as it slides through, it kicks it out to the side, whether the machine is running or not. So copper penny will slide down. It'll be accepted. Everything else is going to be rejected. So if something was metal, like a dime,
it'll go to the rejected.
It'll be rejected.
So right here is a copper penny. You just drop it in there.
Come through. It'll drop the line on the copper side.
I drop a zinc one. It should come through.
Always, and it's extremely accurate, 99.9%.
And this is roughly how like a machine, like a coin machine works when you go to...
A vending machine is based on the same principle. You put a toonie in or a loonie, it's recognizing the metal, the composition of the coin as to whether it's going to accept the coin or not.
Okay.
So when I was just setting this up, just point of note, something jumps onto this side, which you can see readily. If you look inside, I pushed it off to the side. This coin right here stands out from all the rest. It's significantly brown. It's completely different. Significantly brown. It's completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually a very old King 6 penny.
Oh.
And it's actually going to be 1940 or older.
Oh.
Because the composition of the penny then is 3% tin.
Oh,
so it's 95.5 is the copper content, but the tin in this coin, I don't know the date, it didn't look, 40?
I can't have my glasses, but I can't.
I'll get my glasses, just take a look, too. It's got to be early. It's a 38, so it has to be before 1940.
And it has tin in it.
Yeah, it's a 3.5% tin, and the machine says, hey, that's tin, we're not accepting tin today, throws it off into here. So on the reject side,
right, it's not always a reject. It's just
different.
It's different.
So you can see it comes. So right away, if you have a really dark coin in there, you might take a quick look because it's going to be a king, or it's going to be something. I've had one or two Indian head set come through this side because it also contains.
So we're just putting pennies through today because you're selling a lot of copper pennies. Is that
right now, copper pennies are the rage, and we're going to sell, copper and or zinc.
Okay.
So we also have a little contaminant here. This is a euro, but it's a zinc model, and it slides through and is rejected on the outbound side as well. So I'm just going to pull these out right now real quick. And just while I was preparing out of the rolls, opening them, getting ready to put into the machine, these are some of the things that when I dump it to here, right away if I see a contaminant, I want to pull it out.
For sure.
So for example, if this is an English penny, the diameter
is too big.
So
it's not going to go through the
machine. What it's going to do is going to jam my machine. So if I'm feeling the rolls and I feel one sticking out, which you've experienced before, you can see it, I try to yank it out because I don't want to have a jam in my machine because it slows me down.
I'm finding actually in the dimes, I'm getting a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but I do get quite a few
English 5 dent.
English, or there's actually a lot of Chinese yuan.
Yeah, you get some
they're a little bit bigger.
They mess up. So they do mess up the machine. So if I see it, I pull it out right away when I'm getting ready. And in this example, I happen to also see this is an English farthing somebody jammed in there. That's a beauty. Like that's just a good find. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
Beautiful. Somebody jammed a really old coin in there. And then there was another English penny right here.
Well, who's on the back of that one?
It would be George VI.
George VI.
Same as for us, early farthings. So we have another English penny. So we had 3 English penny size, a farthing and 2 pence. There was also a couple of wheat cents, but I just could see them obviously, so I just pulled them out. There was another wheat cent. And then there was this little teeny guy, which I happened to see. This is either a Bermuda, Bahamas, something like this, a little squirrel, and it's small, so I saw it coming out. It was small. There was 2 dimes, which just stood out because they're silver. And then there was this amazing...
Oh, there's some silver.
In the pennies.
Wow.
So I dumped it. I'm like, hey, that's a dime. And then I looked and went, oh, it's actually, it fell out this way. I thought, oh, there's a dime. I pulled it out. I'm like, hey, it's a silver dime. So once in a while, these particular batch that I'm going to run right now, my brother ran into a guy a few years back, even though the penny was discontinued, who was just returning pennies to the bank that he had, gathered for his daughter to do a project. And my brother is like, hey, my brother collects pennies. I'll just buy those from you right on the doorstep here. And in fact, the guy had something in the neighborhood of 80 or 90 boxes of these pennies. And my brother at the time said, oh, it's a couple $1,000. I think Bob would still be interested. I said, hell, grab those pennies. I'm happy to have them. And right now we're just going to run those pennies. And that guy had gathered those pennies, maybe a bundle or 2 at a time, $5, $10. And he had, been saving them for a number of years. And then his daughter just went on to a different project or they were surplus to his needs. So now I have those pennies and we're just going to split out copper and zinc and, show how the machine runs and away we go.
Perfect. Okay. So let's
it's
get
a bit
this.
noisy.
A bit noisy. That's fine. We can always turn down the
Edit
sound.
later.
Yeah, we can turn the sound down, but we'll have, let's get it running. Oh, it's kind of quiet.
It's not going to be quiet for long. We'll dump pennies in the top.
Lining up the copper. So 98%, 95% or more.
95% or more is going to drop on this side. Everything else is going to drop on this side. You want to stay in the neighborhood of that machine while it's running, because if there's a jam, you get an English penny would buy or some contaminant would buy. So 2 pieces are stuck together. If it jams the machine, I want to quickly turn it off and clear the jam and move on before it's going by pretty quickly. And I don't want a big pile and then they fall in and they mess up my
If the
stuff.
jams are affected, it's going to fill back up.
It's going to fill back up on itself and make a mess. Now, sometimes on the outbound side, we're going to get a few rejected coins. Often they're 1980 and they're often 1984. Either when they were making the copper at that time, there was quality control, something was going on at that snapshot that it seems to reject them quite a bit. There's another one, you can see them. So we'll put them back on the side with it wrong. And later we probably kind of stick through here and pick those out. They stand out pretty clear. There's one there. I can often see the color or the head. Go back to that side.
Now on this side that's being rejected,
1980.
there's always a chance that you can find ourselves with a couple
Right
of
now we have a doubled up coin in our machine.
Oh,
So if we have a doubled up coin, we need to clear it because it's going to slow my machine down. We have to find it wherever it is. There it is right there, and it's just either coins that dropped in at once. And just slows the machine down.
so what I was going to say is, in this reject, you say reject, there's a couple of years that have, that, especially the Canadian penny, that are very important.
In the reject side.
In the reject.
2006, no logo, no P.
No low P. So,
So-
even though it's not copper for metal value, it's got value because it could be something of value because
Something of value, for sure. So we'll just run this machine, and now I do have a hopper that can add on to the weight of that. So I could, in theory, put like a lot of pennies, like this high,
Sure.
and then just let it run.
But you're saying,
But what happens is, if I had that jam, I have 40 pounds of pennies sitting on top of it,
Right.
and it either is gonna wear out my machine. So I just find right now, because I'm not doing 3 machines, I'm doing 1. I just use 1 cup at a time. So if something goes wrong, it's not going to take long to kind of get them out
right.
and clean up their mess.
Now, we did another video before where we showed, you collected pennies. This was back in the early 2000s, I believe it was, when you were collecting pennies when the bank discontinued.
And that's 2012, 2013.
2012. How many machines were you running at that point?
At that time, we ran 3 Ryedale machines. three running side by side, but a couple of staff monitoring that.
monitoring.
And in fact, we would run with the hoppers on all three machines because we were just really just getting out the copper to be sold as copper. And the pennies at that time weren't coming in rolls and boxes, they were coming in bags from the people who dumped the Coinstar machines were selling us the pennies, and we would just dump them into the top of the hopper and it would just split the machines out.
Okay.
And in fact, when those machines caught a contaminant or something went wrong, yeah, it was quite annoying because we had to dig those pennies out or let them run for a minute and then get it low enough we could scoop them. So I'm not sure if it was, probably big picture, it was better to run with the hoppers. But when stuff broke down or a contaminant happened, it was quite annoying, I would say, to kind of get them clear. So, well, we'll run the rest of these copper. We'll split out the copper first, and then we'll set up again. There's kind of a keen eye on it, what's going on.
We've almost done all those containers now, right?
Yeah.
We've had a bit of contamination. We shouldn't say contamination, but we pulled off. This is where I collected the copper. And then we've got some other stuff that we pulled out over here. Pulled some dimes out. And just some other stuff that's another jam. Here's a jam. So he's gonna look at the jam, see what the jam is.
Could be just two coins dropping together. Two coins together is not ideal. Something fell in there. It's a clipped. It's the same straight clip as this other thing we found.
We found two of these weird clip coins. We're not sure.
Kind of strange.
I was gonna look and see what.
I'll look at them, but it looks like somebody hacksawed them or
Right.
something. They're kind of strange, and that creates a jam in the machine. It's annoying.
Done, and we flip out the copper. Now we're going to change the machine out again. I've been actually running through here just by hand, pulling out some 2006s, as you can see. They're probably just all zinc, but Bob's got a better way to show us, but we're going to switch out the machine and we're going to run the machine again with these coins, but we're going to change out the coin in here. So we'll see how that goes.
So this was a copper penny. So what we can do is we can just replace it without even looking in here, as a known penny. We know that this is on the zinc side. So now that's a zinc control penny. So now anything that matches this coin is going to be a keeper. Well, it'll be zinc, and everything on this side will be other. So really, right now, let's just call this the needle in a haystack, right?
So right now these are either steel, zinc, or low copper.
Well, steel and zinc. Let's say 99% of this is steel and zinc.
Now, I want to throw through what you're going to throw through right now. We're going to take my little handful there, which are probably zinc. We're just going to drop
These are 06?
06. So let's see where these go. So something came out on the other side. So we've got two.
So we have two pieces here that are 2006. You said they were 6s?
I thought they were 2006, were they not?
Yeah, well, they are.
Okay.
So let's say they're 06, but they have a logo on them.
Ah, so not
Logo.
Oh,
Logo. So they're just 2006.
yeah.
Nothing special about those bad boys there.
There we go.
So now what we want to do is we're just going to get ourselves set up. It's going to be a bit bouncy when I get started because they hit hard. And I'll just get this ready like this. And then
So zinc on this side, steel.
zinc, steel, and copper. So if there was a few contaminants that came over here from the copper run, they're not zinc, so they're going to be rejected onto the outbound side as well. And then they'll stand out even more, and we can put it with the copper pile. Pretty easy to spot them. So right now we're just going to get ready to run the zinc. I'll put my hand here for a minute so that once there's a pile of coins, it won't jump anymore. So we bounce off there and it can bounce right out.
Any dates of zinc that are of note level?
Just use 2009 Canadian. It's kind of a low mintage for 09. And then the other thing we need to look at on this side is removal of the USA pennies. All USA pennies now will fall on this side. So, USA pennies have to be pulled out of there as well. The USA penny there.
Oh.
So it's exactly the same as this. Our zinc pennies are, whatever the percentage is, 95% zinc or something like this. 95, 96. And so it is. The zinc is copper plated, essentially. Now these are steel with copper plated. So it's not recognizing the copper, it's recognizing that the bulk of the coin is zinc. And you can see that the copper ones are now falling on this side here, copper. There'll be a few, in all of this stuff, there might be like 20 pieces of copper that jumped over. And I have in the past just kind of pulled out all the coppers and said, hey, what's different about them? They almost always are 84 and 80 of the weight, so either they were not, in quality control of the metal going through, or that it's copper, but somehow the mint reading is not so efficient. Here, the wheat penny comes over. That's the cheapest, that's wheat penny. And that's falling on the non-zinc side.
So now we pulled out the zinc.
And what you can see is that the amount, so we have a certain amount of copper in a box. Let's just call it the better part of, these are older boxes, so they're probably like 40 to 50% is copper. So half of them were copper, which we separated. And then of the other half, 2/3 to 1/3 is probably gonna be zinc versus steel. And that's just because the steel is only 2002, 4P, 5P, 6 logo, 7, 8, and some 9s, and then 11, 12 each have a zinc model and a steel model. So there's only 8 or 9 years that they were producing the steel penny versus 20 plus years and USA pennies for a long time in the zinc format. So that's why we have quite a difference in amount of this type of penny versus this type.
This is where we have some value,
Essentially.
potential value with it.
Now the zinc is just the zinc. I'm gonna put that copper back in here. Ready for next time. It's a pretty good one here. I like that.
Now we've got some more of these. Someone's been cutting these ones that we had a couple of these go through.
Again, another one?
Another one that made it to the machine. We've had this one, if there's a couple, what was it, 4 or something that we
3, 4, and 5.
that jammed up. We had these go through the machine. And they were jamming the machine. But these look like they've been just cut by somebody.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy.
Cool.
We're gonna look through this box now.
Okay, so this is your rejects.
I got a reject cup. And we're gonna be looking through,
We'll
looking
do
for,
2 things. First of all, when we grab a handful, if it's copper, just pull it out. We want the copper to go in the copper piles, right? That make sense?
no, it doesn't.
If you find a copper penny, it doesn't belong in here. This is copper right here.
1970, that would be copper.
Yeah, so it's going to go over the copper.
Okay.
It's a contaminant that jumped or
So
escaped.
where's our bucket for copper, and where's our,
Just put the coppers in here.
Okay.
We'll clean them up later.
and then steel would be,
These are all steel.
except for the,
Everything in here is steel.
but I had some, oh, okay, I'm listening, sorry, go ahead.
It's all steel. So everything in here is going to be 2007, 2008, 2002 with a P, 04P, 05P. Those are very scarce. You might find 1 or 2. So if you find an 04 or 05, pull it out.
Okay.
Okay? 2, 4, 5. We'll pull them out. I have a different place
2,
for those.
4, 5, 6.
2, 4, 5, 6.
4
2, 4, 5,
and 6.
Top.
And copper. And copper, right?
I'll be able to go through really quick now. Change over 96. If you ran into a 96, for example, a 97 in the copper pile, it doesn't belong.
Right.
But if it's a contaminated planchet that came from somewhere else, like let's say you have a 97 that doesn't belong and you check it as copper because it was just happened to be in a machine and fell in and got the wrong date stamped onto it. It's an
Correct.
off metal strike, right?
Right.
It could be worth a lot if you found that. So if you find a 1983 USA penny and it weighs 3.1 grams, you found 20 grand. You know
Sorry,
I'm
what
saying?
year was that?
At 83. So before I throw back any USA pennies, I look for 83 specifically because if it's going to fall in, it's going to fall in the following year.
Right.
So once they started doing the zinc pennies, if there was a copper planchet sitting on a ledge around a machine that dumped into a hopper, they wouldn't see the color because it would be brand new still, right? It would have got stamped. It would have been a copper planchet with the wrong date.
And there I found this is in the steel. This is, so we
What do you
pulled
got
up,
there?
we pulled up 2 cents.
Oh, euro.
Euro. So these are in there as well.
Euro.
Right there.
It just goes in that funny contaminant
Okay,
pile
we
there.
got a contaminant pile over here. So you're right, this is a bit more entertaining because there's a bit more things that come in here.
Yeah, well, now the needle in the haystack is so small. We'll be done this in a few minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. I haven't found any 2004s.
No, it's very low mintage. And if it's a 2004 with a P in the back, and it's nice and shiny, like, you know, some of these look like they're brand new.
Yeah.
It's nice and shiny. We're gonna hang on to it just because it's shiny and cool.
Right.
But if it's just kind of old and dirty, some of these are still quite used, then we wouldn't save it. But we're gonna take a look at it separately and make that decision and buy. That's just called the eye grading with my eye. If it's shiny enough to become like a set, then I have that bin I showed you with shiny bits, right?
And I pulled the 86.
86 is copper, right? Yeah, we'll have a few coppers in here. Here's 82. Just for speed and efficiency, I would just not really worry about too much of the other stuff in here. Just get to the 6s and the coppers. Hard on the eyes though, eh?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you have light, it might be not too bad.
It's super bright over here, man. Nice and warm too.
I was gonna say it's giving off a lot of. I'm also pulling out the 2 cents.
Another one?
Another one.
And there might be a dime in there as well. You never know. Dimes are good because they're a dime.
That's right.
10x. 10x. This is another jumper here. It's 04.
04.
Zinc. You can see right away the zinc. The color's different. You can always have a couple of jumpers. It's to be expected. What's this guy? Oh, look at that wheat penny.
Oh.
Nice. Put that over there in the wheat penny pile. See that with my eye. Nice blend.
Another euro.
Euro. Did a job today? Who are you visiting today?
We're visiting a company up in Squamish.
Squamish.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what's it called? Darwin's out there, right?
So you can see we pulled out some copper, pulled out 2006s,
Some copper here too.
and we've got some copper over there. And then we pulled out some 05. These are with the P, right?
I think so, yeah. Should have a P on them because they're in the steel side. It's a very small P they put on these ones.
Yeah.
Very petite.
There's some 05.
So this is done. Done.
Now-
Where's your copper? Here? Copper?
Copper, yeah. Move the copper over there.
Just goes
And then
in the
I pulled out one 2004 because I was told to pull out 2004.
Yeah, 04 would have a P as well.
And it should be a P as well. There you go. Now we've got these are now 2006. We know that they're steel. They're not zinc.
Yeah, we know that they're zinc, or they're not zinc, because if this was the zinc pile, it'd be like a huge pile, and all the zinc ones have no logo. So all we got to do, that's not a bad stash. Just got to come to the light and see if it's got a logo. So you can see the logo.
We're looking for no logo.
We're looking for the rare 2006 no logo, no P magnetic logo. It's pretty easy to see when we just identified them down to this.
A little handful.
We have one handful out of all those pennies.
And
Zero. Zero pieces. As to be expected, though.
Why it's rare.
This is why it's a rare penny. So the occurrence of a 2006 no logo, no P, if we were to take 10 boxes of pennies, run them through the machine, take out the copper, split it down to the metal, split it down to the steel, the average is about one of these coins per 10 boxes of circulated, unsearched pennies out of the wild. So they're not out there, but they're very rare. So we just did 2 boxes, so it was, unlikely. Sort of like when you're looking for that Northern Lights toonie. You go many boxes without finding one, and then you're like, well, there's one right there. But you've gone through 5 boxes pretty fast. So those are
Back into
back into the steel. We took a look. That was a treasure hunt part of our life. We treasure hunted, didn't find it, so we just move on. No luck.
And then these ones, they're the 2005 P.
Yeah, they're 2005 P. Just for giggles, just for different sets that we do. These 05 Ps versus this one, if you can see the difference. This one I think is quite nice. It's very clean. This is a bit dirty. This is almost an uncirculated coin. It's 05. I just happen to see it as a very nice example. So I'm going to keep this for myself. I got a better use for that. Okay. So that one comes into here. And also I had found one just in pre-creating. It's a 2002 P, but it's very shiny. Almost looks like it's not been touched once or twice. Nice and clean. Could be put into some sets for somebody. They like them nice and shiny like that. So this one makes the grade, and this 05 makes the grade. And that's all we got. So these ones could just go back. These cut up ones are just strange, eh?
Yes.
So many. How many is there? 4 or 5 of them?
We had a whole bunch of these cut ones. I'm not sure what we did with them.
So I wonder if they were making a backsplash. Remember I said the guy was doing something, and maybe they used what they needed, and they were making a corner.
Needed a corner
countertop.
piece.
Needed a corner, and it snipped it, and then
return it now that you've got a penny for it.
Yeah, you could get a penny for it. This one looks like it was a copper one to start. Copper. The date is 96, 93. So it's copper. 100% that's been clipped after the fact.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been clipped.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. That was just a wasted penny though. And that was our stash of, a couple of wheat cents, quite a bit of euros.
There's a lot of
3,
euros.
4 euros. Bunch of dimes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dimes, including a silver dime. Nice. Nice little pile of sort of treasures.